Have you ever noticed how the mind has its way of dragging you back to moments you wish you could erase? I mean, you're washing dishes, you're driving to work, maybe trying to fall asleep, and suddenly you're right back in that conversation, that decision, that moment you wish you handled differently. It's like your brain hits rewind without your permission, and before you know it, you're reliving something that ended a long time ago. Some of us have been reliving mistakes that we can't change for a long time. Things that are over and done with. And we can't go back in time and fix it. But see, I want you to love yourself. And it's hard to love yourself when you're living in past mistakes. Oh, no. We can't have that. We need to correct that. So go ahead, grab yourself a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage. Have a seat, and let's talk about it here on A Different Choice.
Ooh, you gotta love yourself. Yeah, you gotta love yourself. Hey, you gotta love yourself. Just letting you know, you got to love yourself.
Hello everyone, and welcome to A Different Choice. My name is James, and I'll be your host. Mistakes. We all make them, but some people live in them. They kind of baby them and carry them around with them all their lives. They keep replaying mistakes over and over and over again, and that's no way to live. But here's something that most people never say. When you keep replaying your mistakes, sometimes your mind is trying to protect you, but sometimes your mind is trying to punish you. I say that because it seems like it's trying to protect you by replaying the moment over and over again so you won't make the same mistake twice. But on the other hand, it's punishing you by replaying the moment again because it's saying you shouldn't have made that mistake in the first place. But here's the thing I want you to remember. A mistake is just a mistake, and that's all it is. The only thing that you do when you replay it is to relive the fear, relive the shame. As a matter of fact, you're reliving that version of you that doesn't even exist anymore. That's the version of you that you have outgrown. But here's the problem. When you replay a mistake long enough, you start to believe that the mistake is who you are. You put a title on that mistake. And most of the time, that title is your name. You might say something like, that mistake I made, that's James. Yep, James is just a big old fat mistake. But here's something I need you to remember. You're not a mistake. You made a choice that you regret. That's human. All of us have done it. Please don't think that you're the only one who has made a mistake. There are people in your circle of friends who have made a mistake in the past. People in your family who have made a mistake in your past. I have made mistakes in my past. You're not the only one who's had regrets. But hopefully you've learned something from your mistake. And you know what that's called? That's called growth. And you're becoming wiser also because of that mistake. And that's called maturity. And wisdom and maturity go hand in hand because as you mature, you gain wisdom. And how do we gain wisdom? Many times it's from our mistakes. Listen, you don't have to keep living inside a moment that's already over. You don't have to keep rehearsing the pain that taught you what it needed to teach you at the time. See, there's a difference between reviewing your past and being held hostage by it. Did you hear that? There's a difference between reviewing, looking over your past, and then being held hostage by it. When we review, when we reflect, It says, let me understand what happened. But when we're held hostage, that rumination, that when we continue to mull over it in our mind over and over again, that's saying, let me punish myself for it. And some of you have been carrying a sentence you were never meant to serve. One mistake, and you sentence yourself to a life in prison in your mind. I need to quote something from the Bible because it's very important that you hear this. In the book of Matthew, Peter asked Jesus, how many times should I forgive my brother? Should it be 7 times? And Jesus answered, no, 70 times 7. And I want to say to you, if you should give your brother or your sister that many times, why not forgive yourself that many times? For some reason, people seem to treat themselves worse than they would treat others. Forgive yourself. It was a mistake. It doesn't matter how big it was or how small it was. Just to understand it was a mistake and life still goes on. So the next time your mind tries to pull you back into that old scene, pull you back into that old mistake, I want you to pause, just take a breath, feel yourself in the present moment. Feel the fact that you're here now and not back there. And understand again that you are not the mistake. That was then, and this is now. And then say to yourself, I'm safe now. That moment is over. I'm allowed to move forward. I'm safe now. That moment is over. I'm allowed to move forward. And do you know why you're allowed to move forward? Because you are. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to be better today than you were then. You are allowed to be someone new. You are allowed to be someone healed from the shame or whatever from the past mistake. You're allowed to have fun. You're allowed to experience joy. You're allowed to carry on, laugh, and act silly if you want to. Matter of fact, all I'm saying is you're allowed to live. And you can't live in a good way, and you can't love yourself if you stay in the past. If you stay in past mistakes, that's never going to help you live today. You don't heal by replaying the moment. You heal by changing the meaning of the moment, learning from the moment, growing from the moment. And maybe, just maybe, today is the day you stop replaying the past. Maybe today is the day that you realize the past is gone. You've learned from it, and now you're moving on. Maybe today is the day that you begin to live in the present and start reclaiming your future. And as you're doing this, do me a favor. If this is not you, share this with someone. Maybe a close friend, maybe a family member, because someone needs to stop reliving their mistakes. Someone that you know needs to come out of the past and into the present so they can enjoy life just like you want to enjoy life. Remember, we need to help each other out. So if you know somebody who's living in their mistakes, share this with them. Share this video with them. And then let's talk about it together. And then while you're at it, be good to yourself, forgive yourself, and most importantly, love yourself. And we will see you next time, next week actually, right here on A Different Choice. Have a great week and get out of the past. You deserve it.
Ooh, you gotta love yourself. Yeah, you gotta love yourself. Hey, you gotta love yourself. Just letting you know, you got to love yourself.
Hello everyone, James here from A Different Choice. We missed you last week, but of course that was because we were moving. And you know how hectic things get when you're moving. Before you move, during the move, and after the move. So that's why we weren't on last week, but we're going to continue our weekly videos starting tonight. And I want you to also to check us out on the web at adifferentchoice.llc. adifferentchoice.llc. Check out the blogs I have on there. Check out what we're trying to do and be a part of that community. And as you see, I don't have my usual green cup. It's just a paper cup, but that's okay. We're going to get everything back together here shortly. So we will see you again next week right here on A Different Choice. Join us and have some other people come and watch also. We'll see you next time.